Hi, boys and girls. Today, we are going to be moving on to a new unit. We finished up graphing, so now we're going to be starting on perimeter and area. Now, I know perimeter is something we have discussed at times this year, but we've never really had a whole unit on it. So, what you really need to know about perimeter is that perimeter is the distance or length around the outside of a two-dimensional shape. So we're not talking about 3D shapes here. We're only talking about 2D shapes. Now, things to consider that you're going to think about as we go through this unit is what do I know about shapes? You're going to take your knowledge of our geometric shapes to help you find the perimeter of many different things. What units am I measuring in? So if it says inches, we're going to say the label is inches. If it says feet or centimeters, it's feet or centimeters. Are all the sides of the shape accounted for? We're going to be finding out in the next week or so that a lot of times they don't give you all the sides anymore now that you're a third grader. So you might have to actually do some math to solve for the sides. And finally, how do I find the perimeter of a shape? We're going to talk about that a lot. So let's find the perimeter of this quadrilateral. We would define this shape as just a quadrilateral. It's not a trapezoid, it's not a square or rectangle. So what we're going to do is look at all the lengths of the sides. So 6 inches, 5 inches, 3 inches, and 4 inches. Now, unless they're all the same, or several of them are the same, it's always a simple addition problem. However, we can look for combinations that make it easier. So for example, I'm going to link the 4 and the 6 together, which would be 10 inches. And then 3 plus 5 is 8. So I would say the perimeter, which we represent with using a P, equals 18 inches. All we do is find um, the sum of all 4 sides, or however many sides the shape has. So in this shape, the perimeter is 18 inches. All right, let's look at another example. All right, here's an example of a pentagon. Now, sometimes the numbers are going to be bigger, so you might have to write them down. So for example, I might take this 15 feet right here and write that down first, and then the 10 and get that out of the way. Now, I can lump together the 9 and the 9 for 18, and finally we have 7. Probably a good idea to cross them off, circle them, check them as you go along to make sure you have all your sides. Now, if I add this up, 5 plus 8 is 13, 13 plus 7 is 20. Carry the 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would say my perimeter equals 50 feet. And when I'm answering, I would just write 50 feet on the line. Don't forget your label. That's really important. Okay? All right, now, what do I do if there's a missing side? This is where your knowledge of shapes comes into play. So obviously, this shape right here is a square. It tells you that because this side is 7 and this side is 7. We're not going to say the perimeter is 14 inches, however, because we have to remember that shapes have sides that we have to account for. So if this is 7, obviously this side down here is 7. And if this is 7, then this side is 7. Now, for those of you who are really good at your multiplication facts, we could say 7 times 4, which is 28 inches. If you're not good at multiplication, you could always add the sides. Once again, we could use our associative property, put these two together, 14 and 14, and we still get 28 inches. Now, let's look at this other one. What do we know about rectangles? Well, we know rectangles have opposite sides equal. So if this side is 10 meters, then this side is 10 meters. And if this is 8, this is 8. Put them together, 10 plus 10 is 20. 8 plus 8 is 16. Add it up, and we would say the perimeter equals 36 meters. So it's always just adding. Sometimes we can use multiplication to make it a little faster. All right, now finally, there's a different way that is sometimes shown. If you were taking the PSSAs this year, one of the ways they might have done perimeter is with a grid. Now, you're not going to count these up here. You're only ever counting the shaded shape. Now, we could fill in the numbers and say, like, this is 1, 2, 3 boxes, and this is 1, 2, 3, which means this is 1, and 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 this is 1. However, I feel the easiest strategy on these is really just to count. So you find a starting spot and you just count. Every outside of a square counts as 1 towards the perimeter. So we could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We would say the perimeter of this shape is 12 centimeters. Okay, let's look at another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. The perimeter of this shape is 18 inches, and that's the answer. Okay, we're not actually counting up the sides. You could do what we did on this first shape, but you could also just count the outsides. All right, that's pretty much all you need to know. Thanks for watching this video. Now go to your Google form and try and answer some perimeter questions yourself. I highly recommend that maybe use some paper or a whiteboard to solve your questions before typing in your answers. And don't forget your labels. All right, have a great day, everybody.